Hey everyone, welcome back into the room. If this is the first time you're pulling up a chair, I'm the voice you're about to get very familiar with, and the one rule around here is simple. There are no untouchables. If the person you defend online happens to be sitting in today's file, and that idea already has you tightening up, you are free to close this tab without ceremony. You do not owe me a goodbye. I promise you, I will survive it, and so will your feed. But if you are still here, buckle in, because what I am about to walk you through is the single most self-incriminating 24 hours Karlissa has ever put on the internet, and Blueface handed her the shovel to dig the hole she is standing in. So let me lay the table for you, because tonight the plates are heavy. We have Blueface, we have Karlissa, and we have Sam. Now stop and think about that combination for a second, because in all the months this saga has been unfolding, I do not remember these three names ever being stitched into the same headline in the same week, and yet here we are. And the reason we are here is because a little girl named Jaidyn just had a birthday, and the people who were supposed to be lighting her candles were nowhere near her cake. Her actual birthday landed midweek. There was a private dinner, there was a full-themed party a couple of days later, and the guest list told a story louder than any post any of these adults could ever type. Karlissa pulled up to the dinner. Blueface did not pull up to either one. And by the time the balloons hit the ceiling at the party, Karlissa was ghost too. 2 grandparents, 1 father, 1 birthday girl, and only a leftover slice of cake to account for any of them. That is the arithmetic of neglect, and it happened this weekend on live camera. But here is the part that made my jaw fall into my lap. Karlissa is now standing in front of a camera trying to explain the empty chair, and the explanation she has decided to run with, the story she has chosen to protect her name, is that Sam is the reason she could not walk into a child's birthday party. Sam. Not the child's father. Not the grandmother's own scheduling. Not traffic, not weather, not a family emergency. Sam. A grown woman is looking into a lens and telling the internet that a friend of her son's ex is the boogeyman keeping her out of a room full of cupcakes and Spongebob decorations. And before I walk you straight into her exact words, we have to first pull up the receipts on Blueface, because the apple, as the old folks say, does not fall far from the tree, and once you hear the father. The grandmother's excuse is going to sound like a rerun of a bad sitcom nobody asked to be renewed. Same writers. Same lines. Same laugh track. Different birthday cake in the background. Blueface has not laid eyes on Jaidyn or Jaidyn in over a month at this point. Let that number breathe for a second. Over a month. And it is not because he has been out of the country, it is not because he has been in a hospital bed, it is not because a court order is standing between him and the front door. He has been out. He has been on livestream. He has been playing weekend stepfather to another woman's child while his own 2 children sit at home not hearing his voice. He has been at parties. He has been on podcasts. He has been on that little webcam of his defending himself to a chat room full of strangers. Everywhere but where his kids are. Blueface has time for everybody except the 2 little humans whose last name he passed down. Blueface has minutes for the algorithm, but not for Jaidyn. Blueface has hours for stepfather duty across town, but not for the daughter across the freeway. Blueface has weekends for a whole other woman's household, but not for the daughter whose birthday cake was already waiting for him. And when the internet finally cornered him on the topic, this was the answer Blueface cooked up. He said, and I am paraphrasing Blueface's tone here because the entitlement inside it does not translate to text on its own. Blueface said, of course a mother can keep a father from his kids, and if you think otherwise you must be a woman. Because it is different when you are a dad. That was Blueface opening. That was the frame Blueface chose. Then Blueface pivots and calls the chat naive. Blueface calls the chat biased. Blueface says one week the internet is mad that he stays overnight to see his own children, and the next week the internet is mad that he wants to take them without their mother present, and how dare we not make up our minds. And then, my personal favorite, Blueface pulls out a metaphor he seems to be very proud of. Blueface says, listen chat, it's 101 Dalmatians over here. Blueface says he is not a regular man, and he cannot do what regular men do, and once he sees another male in a woman's home, he refuses to step foot inside, so instead of picking his kids up like a functioning parent, Blueface would rather book a hotel and haul them across town. connected to absolutely nothing that matters. Not a single sentence in that entire monologue was about Journey. Not one. Not 1 inch about the party. Not one about the cake. Not one about the little face he did not show up for. Blueface managed to talk for 6 full minutes about being a father without ever saying the name of the daughter whose birthday he skipped. 6 minutes. 0 mentions of Journey. 0 mentions of Javon. That is not a father defending himself. That is a stranger auditioning for the role. So that is the father. That is the tone. That is the excuse architecture in this family. And then, right on cue, Blueface mother steps to the microphone and delivers her own version of the same performance, a fully packaged smokescreen dressed up in grandma clothing. If Blueface is the opening act, Karlissa is the headliner, and Karlissa came ready to sing every wrong note on the set list. Karlissa hopped online and led with the classic preemptive shield. "Please," Karlissa says, "stop asking me about my granddaughter's birthday party." Karlissa says she was never given the address. Karlissa says she asked and never received it. Karlissa says Sam will be there, so that is all she needs. And then Karlissa signs it off with the passive-aggressive holy water sprinkle. "Have a blessed weekend." Have a blessed weekend. I want you to feel how insulting that sign-off is when you match it up with the situation. A 3-year-old just turned 4. The child's father is missing. The child's grandmother is missing. And her grandmother's response is to slap a fake benediction on the end of a paragraph full of excuses. Have a blessed weekend indeed. Have a blessed weekend while the birthday girl asks where grandma is. Have a blessed weekend while the cake goes uncut by half the family that was supposed to be around it. Karlissa said the quiet part out loud and dressed it in a hymnal, and then Karlissa expected the internet to salute her for it. Now, while all of this was happening, while Journey was blowing out candles without her father and without her grandmother, listen to what Karlissa was actually doing with her Saturday. Karlissa was at some kind of pool situation in her neighborhood. Some kind of little community day, some kind of pop-up outdoor event, sipping something out of a red cup, joking about being in the video, saying hi to somebody named Tisha, going on and on about somebody bringing a baby to the pool. That was Karlissa's afternoon. A community block party level of importance was placed above her own granddaughter's 4th birthday. Read that sentence back to yourself one more time and let it sit there. A block party. Above a child. Karlissa chose a strange baby at a pool over the 2 babies who call her grandma. Karlissa chose a red cup at a lawn event over a slice of Spongebob cake at her own bloodline celebration. And then Karlissa had the audacity to log back on and blame a friend named Sam for the empty seat Karlissa personally chose to leave empty. But Karlissa was not done. Karlissa proceeded to do that thing that only Karlissa knows how to do. Karlissa went on camera to justify the unjustifiable in the most self-incriminating monologue I have watched in weeks. Karlissa said she was going to go to the party. Karlissa said the reason she chose not to go is because she did not want to be around Jaden's friends and end up in her feelings, or make somebody else be in their feelings. Karlissa said Jaden's family, the ones who really love Jaden, would never talk sideways about her son, because those people love Karlissa too. And I have to stop the tape right there, because that sentence alone is a masterclass in delusion. Jaden's family does not love Karlissa. Jaden's family has never loved Karlissa. If you have been sitting in this seat with me for more than a couple of months, you already know the temperature between Jaden's mother and Karlissa runs about 10 degrees north of frozen. There is bad blood there. There has been bad blood there, and honestly, that is probably the real reason Karlissa refused to sit in that party room, because Jaden's mother was going to be there, and Jaden's mother has receipts. And Karlissa knew that Jaden's mother was not going to hand her a plate and pretend nothing happened. Karlissa was not afraid of Sam. Karlissa was afraid of Jaden's mother. Karlissa built a decoy villain out of Sam, so she would never have to admit who she was really running from. Let that sink into every crevice of your brain, because that is the entire con in one sentence. But Karlissa keeps going, because Karlissa cannot help herself. Karlissa says she does not want to be around people who are going to make her feel some type of way. Karlissa says Jaden's real friends know how to mind their business. Karlissa says Jaden's real friends. She name-drops Quincy. She name-drops Tatiana. She says those friends love Jaden the right way, which apparently means never criticizing Blueface out loud. And then Karlissa pivots directly onto Sam. Karlissa says Sam was straddling the line at first. Karlissa says Sam was being a supportive friend, and she appreciated that. But now, Karlissa says, Sam is on the internet saying Blueface does not want Jaden to be anything without him, and that, according to Karlissa, is a bridge too far. Notice the pattern already. Karlissa is fine with a friend as long as the friend is disposable. Karlissa is fine with a friend as long as the friend is silent. Karlissa is fine with a friend as long as the friend never becomes a threat to Karissa's ownership of Jaden's story. The second a friend develops a spine, that friend gets rebranded as the enemy. That is not friendship curation. That is inventory management. Then Karlissa does something so revealing I want you to hear it in her own logic. Karlissa says Jaden was not an industry name, was not an artist, was not a celebrity before Blueface. Karlissa says Sam is out here using her best friend to build a following. Karlissa says all of this is helping Sam and hurting Jaden. Karlissa says Sam is not really a friend. And then, and this is the sentence that broke the entire mask, Karlissa says she is always going to tell Blue, Jaden, Callie and Drama when she sees somebody around them who is not really a friend. Because if she has to be around that person, she is going to reflex slap somebody and land in trouble. Reflex slap. Karlissa said that. Out loud. On camera. A grandmother, on record, threatening to slap somebody at her 4-year-old grandchild's birthday party. Read that back. That is a threat. That is not a concern. That is not a boundary. That is a threat aimed at a friend of the mother of Karissa's own grandchild, published to thousands of strangers, on a day the birthday cake should have been the loudest thing in the room. Then Karlissa pivots one more time and Karlissa asks Jaden to please call Quincy back. Karlissa says Quincy was the real friend. Karlissa says Quincy said what she said about Blueface in private and did not disrespect him on the internet. Karlissa says the new friend group, meaning Sam, is turning Jaden into someone Jaden is not. Do you hear it? Do you hear what is actually being said underneath all of that? Because I hear it loud enough to rattle the windows. Every single sentence out of Karissa's mouth is designed to do one thing, pull Jaden back under the thumb. Every sentence is designed to shrink Jaden's world down to the exact people Karlissa can control. Quincy, the friend who says her opinions in private. Callie, the sister-in-law who stays in her lane. Drama, the family unit. Never Sam. Never anyone new. Never anyone with the nerve to say out loud what everyone already knows. Karlissa is not building a case against Sam. Karlissa is building a fence around Jaden. And Karlissa is doing it in real time on a public feed, and Karlissa still cannot see that the fence Karlissa is building is being live-streamed by Karlissa herself. And that is exactly what Dre has been warning about for weeks. If you have been keeping up with Dre's timeline, you already know Dre has been calmly, methodically, publicly exposing Karissa's playbook, and the top of the playbook is exactly this, the isolation move. Ruin the friendships. Ruin the working relationships. Ruin the business opportunities. Ruin the little private support systems one by one until Jaden looks up and Karlissa is the only phone number left in her contact list. That is not a theory anymore. That is not a rumor anymore. That is on camera. Karlissa just did it on camera. Karlissa just published her own confession without realizing it, and Dre is somewhere right now watching the tape as the smile creeps across his face, because every syllable Karlissa uttered was the sound of Dre being proven right in front of the whole internet. Dre did not have to say a word this weekend. Karlissa handed the case to him gift-wrapped, with a bow. Now let me walk you straight into what Journey's actual party looked like, because I do not want us to lose sight of the little girl in the middle of all of this. Jaden threw her daughter a full Spongebob theme. And I mean full. Krabby Patty setup, pineapple accents, a soundtrack, the works. Jaden always throws her baby's real parties. Jaden puts thought into it. Jaden puts money into it. Jaden puts hours into it. Journey walked in and lit up like a candle. There is footage of Journey screaming with joy over the Krabby Patty station. There is footage of the kids running around and laughing and being kids. And in the middle of that footage, Callie, Blueface's own sister, showed up. Callie wrote out a message so long and so heartfelt I nearly needed a tissue reading it. Callie called Journey her sugar bear. Callie said she prays over Journey's mind, body and soul. Callie said she will ride with Journey until the wheels fall off, and after that. Callie said thank you to Jaden for creating one more, and Callie said the journey was worth every step. And then Callie got in her car and drove to that party. Callie showed up while Blueface was recording himself. While Karlissa was at a pool, Callie was at a Krabby Patty station holding a 4-year-old's hand. That is the contrast. That is the whole tape in a single frame. So let me put this on the table clearly. Callie showed up. Callie is the one adult on Blueface's side of the aisle who put on her shoes and got in the car and remembered that a 4-year-old was waiting for the people she loves. Not Blueface. Not Karlissa. Not Papa. Not Bo. Not any of the men who were running around San Diego with Blueface instead. Just Callie. And for that, Callie earns her flowers in this room today. Because in a family that has forgotten how to prioritize the smallest members of it, one adult chose the child. One out of a family tree that is supposed to be a whole grove. One. Read the room, Karlissa. Read the room, Blueface. Your own sister and daughter shamed the entire lineage by being the only one who could act her age. And I hope Callie is proud of that, because everybody else in her last name should be embarrassed. And that brings us to Sam. Because Sam is the one being publicly blamed for Karlissa's empty chair, and Sam is the only one in this entire storyline who bothered to respond with any adult composure. Sam went live. Sam took a breath. Sam said, and I want you to hear the maturity in this, Sam said she will never get on the internet and talk badly about somebody's grandmother. Sam said Karlissa is Journey and Javon's grandmother, and she would never want those babies to grow up and one day scroll back and find footage of their mother's friend running down their family. Sam said she does not think it is fair to be subjected to this amount of hate. Sam said the last 24 hours have been the loudest wave of insults she has ever taken, from her looks to her Twitch chat to her character. Sam said she is a strong person, but strong does not mean numb. Sam said she is grateful for the people sliding into her DMs to uplift her. That is a grown response. That is a controlled response. That is the exact response the grandmother in this story should have been modeling instead of typing out fake benedictions on a Saturday afternoon. Sam was tutoring the elders in real time and none of them showed up for class. Then Sam got clearer. Sam said, plainly, she has not personally attacked Blueface. Sam said she has only responded to insults that were thrown at her first, for weeks, and Sam said that is not the same thing. Sam said if this were truly about her, if the real problem was her presence in Jaden's life, all Karlissa had to do was pick up the phone, call her best friend, and say the grandmother is not. And if Sam had asked me for advice before that live stream, I would have told Sam the same thing I am about to tell you. Do not apologize. Do not apologize to Blueface. Do not apologize to Karlissa. Do not apologize to a single soul who is trying to hand you a bill for a debt you never owed. Not 1 inch. Not one. Because here comes the part of the story where the whole mask slides all the way off. Are you sitting down? I hope you are sitting down. Because I need you to remember something with me. 2 weeks ago, in this same universe, on this same internet, Sam, Jaden, and Karlissa were on a live stream together, laughing, drinking, joking, doing the whole family goals routine. On that stream, Karlissa was in the frame. On that stream, Karlissa was participating. On that stream, Jaden herself said, quote, "Who the hell is Blueface baby?" unquote. On that stream, Jaden called her own child's father a lunatic. Jaden said Blueface had lunch at the schoolhouse. Jaden said, and I want to make sure I quote this precisely because it is important, Jaden said, forget his baby, forget his mama, forget the whole line. Jaden. Not Sam. Jaden. The mother of Blueface's own daughter is the one who said those words with Karlissa 3 feet away, and Karlissa laughed. Karlissa laughed. Karlissa did not correct her. Karlissa did not check her. Karlissa did not walk out. Karlissa laughed. Karlissa was in the room while her son's ex called her son a lunatic. Karlissa was in the room while her son's ex told the internet to disregard his newborn. Karlissa did not stop the stream. Karlissa did not walk off the set. Karlissa did not go home and write a "please stop asking me about my granddaughter" post. Karlissa laughed. Karlissa participated. Karlissa was 3 feet from the microphone while the whole thing happened. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I need those 3 words tattooed on the inside of the conversation about Karissa's credibility. Because Karissa does not get to pretend she is the moral compass of this family today, when 2 weeks ago Karissa was giggling in the passenger seat of the exact same behavior Karissa now condemns. But today, because Sam made a single comment about Blueface not wanting Jaden to grow past him, today the same grandmother has decided that Sam is a menace to the family peace and that a child's birthday party has to be sacrificed as collateral damage. 2 weeks. 2 weeks between I was in the room and I cannot possibly be in the room. 2 weeks between belly laughing at Blueface on live stream and treating a birthday party like a war zone. 2 weeks. Let that number sit on your chest. If somebody's morality can flip that fast, that is not morality. That is choreography. That is a performance timed for whichever audience is watching. And this weekend, the audience Karissa was performing for was Blueface, and the ticket price was Journey's 4th birthday. There is only one honest explanation for the switch, and by now I think you already know what it is. Because the switch is not about Sam. The switch is not about Blueface's feelings. The switch is not about family harmony. The switch is about control. Karissa lost her leverage over Jaden the moment Jaden built a friendship group that Karissa could not steer. Sam represents an outside voice. Sam represents a mirror that Jaden can look into and see herself without Karissa standing behind her. And Karissa cannot allow that mirror to exist. So Karissa is doing what Karissa has always done. Karissa is trying to soften up her son by publicly performing loyalty to him, and at the same time Karissa is trying to fracture the friendship that made Jaden feel safe enough to walk away in the first place. 2 moves. 1 woman. All on camera. Textbook. Chapter 1 of the Isolation Handbook, published live, with commentary, by the author herself. You know how in every one of those Saturday morning mystery cartoons, when the mask finally comes off the villain always says the exact same line? They always say, "I would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for you meddling kids." That is Karissa right now. That is Karissa aimed squarely at Sam. I would have kept my grip on Jaden if it wasn't for you meddling friend. I would have kept my son looking like a decent father if it wasn't for you meddling friend. I would have kept the whole traveling roadshow running smoothly if it wasn't for you meddling friend. And it is one of the most transparent villain arcs I have watched play out on a public feed in months. Karissa did not even bother to rewrite the script. Karissa is running the cartoon verbatim. And do not miss the small detail hiding in Karissa's own confession, because I refuse to let it sail past you. Karissa named Quincy. Karissa said Quincy was Jaden's real friend. Karissa said Quincy said what she said about Blueface in private and never dragged him online. And then Karissa praised Quincy for that. Think about what that praise is really saying. Karissa is not upset that people have opinions about Blueface. Karissa is upset that opinions about Blueface are being said out loud where the public can hear them. Karissa's ideal friend for Jaden is a woman who whispers her concerns in a kitchen and then smiles for the camera. Karissa's ideal friend for Jaden is a woman who will never be strong enough to force Jaden to look at the truth on a screen. Quincy in Karissa's world was safe because Quincy could be pressured, could be silenced, could be scared off. Sam is different. Sam has a platform of her own. Sam has her own audience. Sam has her own income. Sam cannot be silenced with a phone call. And that terrifies Karissa. That is what Karissa is confessing when Karissa praises Quincy. Karissa is confessing that Karissa preferred the version of Jaden's life Karissa could still manage from a distance. Karissa liked the old Jaden, the Jaden who needed her. Sam introduced Jaden to a Jaden that does not. And Karissa cannot cope with a Jaden that does not need Karissa to breathe. Now let me walk you straight into the piece of this that hurts the most, because it is the piece none of these adults will say out loud. Journey. Journey is 4. Journey did not ask to be born inside a public feud. Journey did not choose the last name attached to her birth certificate. Journey did not choose a father who parks his energy on livestream instead of at her front door. Journey did not choose a grandmother who chose a block party over a birthday party. Journey did not choose any of this, and Journey is the one paying the price for all of it. Every empty chair at that party had a name on it. Every empty chair had a story attached to it. And every empty chair sent a message to a little girl who is old enough now to notice the difference between the adults who show up and the adults who do not. Journey noticed. Do not for 1 second believe that a 4-year-old does not know who is missing from her own party. She knows. She counted heads. She knows exactly whose face was not in that room, and that little count is being filed away in a place none of these grown people can go back and delete later. Journey will remember. Journey is already remembering. And every future birthday is going to be scored against this one. And when I look at Callie's message under Journey's picture, when I read those words, Sugar Bear, wheels fall off, I love you, and your crazy mama forever, I hear the exact tone every child deserves from every adult in their family. Callie modeled it. Callie was the standard. Callie is the reason the story is not 100% bleak today. But Callie also should not have had to carry that flag alone. Callie should not have had to be the only representative of Blueface's side of the family. Callie should not have had to make up for her brother's absence and her mother's absence at the same time. Callie was supposed to be an extra plus, not the whole rescue mission. And the fact that Callie was the whole rescue mission is a sentence about everybody else that even Callie should not have had to write. Callie did her part. Every other adult in that family owes Callie a phone call and an apology. So where does that leave us? Where does that leave Jaden? Where does that leave Sam? Where does that leave Journey? Let me walk you through the temperature I am reading, because I have been watching this dynamic for longer than any of us wanted to. Jaden is in the middle of a slow, painful, extremely public exit from a version of her life that no longer fits her. Sam is the first friend in Jaden's circle who is not scared of Blueface, not scared of Karlissa, not scared of the internet, and not scared of losing access to a household that was never really giving her much peace to begin with. Sam is the friend every isolated woman deserves and rarely gets. Karlissa is watching her daughter-in-law grow a spine and knows exactly what a spine can do to a codependent household, and Karlissa is scrambling. Scrambling looks like empty chairs. Scrambling looks like passive-aggressive posts. Scrambling looks like shifting blame onto the only outsider in the room. Scrambling looks like praising the friend who whispered while attacking the friend who spoke. Scrambling looks like everything we watched Karlissa do this week. And Blueface? Blueface is running the same script Blueface has been running his entire fatherhood, outsource the parenting to whoever is willing, complain about the mother whenever cornered, and make sure the camera catches Blueface at a party while his daughters go to sleep without him. Blueface is not evolving. Blueface is not softening. Blueface is not learning. Blueface is not showing up. And no metaphor about Dalmatians, no monologue about hotels, no lecture about how it is different when you are a dad is going to change the number of days Blueface has now missed with his own children. The receipts do not care about the excuses. The calendar does not care about the metaphors. The calendar keeps counting. And every day Blueface skips is one more day that shows up on Journey's ledger, a ledger she will read one day with adult eyes, and there will not be a live stream long enough to erase what it says. Now I want you to do one thing for me before you close this tab. I want you to picture 2 rooms. In room 1, you have Journey. Journey is 4. There is a Spongebob table, a Krabby Patty station, a Barbie in the corner, and a TT named Callie holding her hand. Journey is laughing. Journey is happy. Journey is safe. In room 2, you have a woman posting about a pool party while her granddaughter blows out candles across town. You have a father filming himself on live stream defending his own absence to a chat full of strangers. You have a grandmother inventing a villain out of a friend to justify a chair she chose not to fill. 2 rooms. One little girl only ever needed to be in one of them. And the adults responsible for that room decided to be somewhere else. 2 rooms. 2 choices. And the wrong ones got made by the people who should have known better. That is the whole story. That is the entire receipt. That is the picture I want you to carry with you the next time Karlissa reaches for another microphone. That is the picture I want you to carry the next time Blueface starts up another live stream lecture. That is the picture I want you to carry the next time somebody online tries to convince you that Sam is the villain of this narrative. Sam, who plated the woman's food. Sam, who never insulted the babies. Sam, who did not skip a single party. Sam, who took the hate for a whole week without going low, Sam, who is being punished for the crime of being a real friend to a woman who has been starved of real friends for years. Sam is not the villain of this story. Sam is the witness. Sam is the receipt. And that is exactly why Karlissa is running so hard from her. Because witnesses do not forget, and receipts do not lie, and Karlissa needs both of those things to disappear before Jaden fully wakes up. None of this is about the kids. It has never been about the kids. It is not going to become about the kids just because a birthday landed on the calendar. It is about control. It is about ego. It is about a grandmother who wants a daughter-in-law she can steer and a son who wants a co-parent he can dominate. And every excuse, every single excuse, every I didn't get the address, every I don't like her friends, every I don't go into women's houses, every it's 101 Dalmatians. Every single one of those excuses is a fully packaged smokescreen designed to hide the same simple sentence. We chose not to show up. We chose not to show up. We chose not to show up. Say it with me one more time so nobody in the comments can pretend they didn't hear it. We chose not to show up. Blueface chose. Karlissa chose. And Journey paid the invoice for both of Blueface and Karissa's choices with her 4th birthday as the currency. And that is the verdict tonight. That is the ruling. That is the gavel. Karlissa is not a victim of Sam. Blueface is not a victim of the algorithm. Journey is the only victim of any of this, and the adults around Journey keep flunking the assignment. Callie passed. The rest of them failed. And until that fails column changes, I am not budging on this take by 1 inch. Not one. Not for a live stream cry. Not for a scripted apology. Not for a staged photo op 3 weeks from now with Journey in matching outfits pretending none of this happened. Not 1 inch. Not one. Save the tears. Save the caption. Save the coordinated wardrobe. The receipts already exist, and the receipts already outrun any post-production spin. And before you go, let me leave you with the thing that will keep me up tonight. Somewhere between now and Journey's next birthday, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either Blueface and Karlissa are going to sit somewhere quiet with themselves and figure out that a 4-year-old does not owe them a second chance until they earn it. Or Journey is going to grow up into a young woman who has a very specific list of adults she does not trust, and the names on that list are going to be exactly the names we spent this whole conversation talking about. That is the fork in the road. That is the decision on the table. And based on the pattern I have watched for the last 18 months, I would not bet a single dollar on the first option. I would bet the whole bank on the second. I hope I am wrong. I have never wanted to be wrong more in my life. But hope is not a plan, and Journey does not have time to wait for grown-ups to grow up on their own schedule. Journey has one childhood. Journey has one 4th birthday. Journey does not get a rewrite, and neither do the adults who missed it. So that was it. That was the file. That was the entire mess laid out on the table with the tag still on it. If you rocked with me on the way in, do me the small favor of tapping that like button so this thing finds the next person who needs to see it. Drop me a comment and tell me, do you think Karlissa is going to double down, triple down, or finally sit somewhere and be quiet? Do you think Blueface is going to see Journey before her next birthday, or are we already counting down another empty chair? Who has Callie a public thank you first, Blueface or Karlissa? Share this with the friend you have been group chatting about the circus with for weeks. Subscribe if you have not already, because we are far from finished with the story, and I promise you the next chapter is already writing itself. And do me a favor, boost me in that comment section, because the room is bigger with you in it. I will meet you right back here for the next one. Take care of yourself, keep your peace, protect your babies, hug the adults in your life who actually show up, and I will see you soon.